I had hoped that the next time I left Niflheim, it would be to reunite with Surtr. I suppose, in a way, I still am. We promised to keep ourselves separate for the good of all creation, and this is the thanks we get. And I am somehow expected to do this, to go through this without him by my side, right? I'll see you soon, my love.
God of War Ragnarok has been one of the most anticipated games ever, and the world and the story it built for the Norse mythology and characters like Kratos, Atreus, and the rest of the cast really shaped up to be one of the best games PlayStation has offered. However, there is always ideas and concepts that get lost and changed through development that would have completely changed the story of the game, and God of War Ragnarok is no exception. I am Omega Fantasy, and in today's video I am going to be showing you the restoration of two huge cut content in the game. One involving a completely cut sequence near the end of the game that would have changed a lot in terms of the story, and another completely cut questline that happens at the ending of the game that might actually tease something coming next. So of course, if you haven't finished the game yet, be warned, this video is full of heavy spoilers. And without further ado, let us begin. So the first cut sequence we are talking about today is the Surtr turning into Ragnarok sequence. And to quote Kratos at that specific moment,
"This feels too easy."
Well, it is too easy because that's not how even things would have happened. By looking into cut dialogue, we can actually see how things would have happened originally, and it's very different. So just as a very quick recap on what originally happens, is that Surtr has Sinmara's heart inside of him, we go to the Spark of the World from Muspelheim, he places his fire into Kratos' blades, he stabs him, and we get Ragnarok, and then we proceed to the ending sequence of the game. Now, sadly for the cut sequence, we only have subtitles and not actual audio, unlike the questline at the ending. But it gives us the entire picture very clearly, and it took a lot of time to actually link everything properly together. And it's really funny that Atreus literally says our whole concern with this sequence. I'm going to be acting as Atreus, so bear with me. So he says to Kratos, what if he's wrong? This whole thing seems off. They couldn't be together, so they swapped hearts, which somehow didn't kill them. And you having Surtr's fire in your blades is supposed to be enough to replicate Surtr's heart? It just feels like we are cheating. Maybe we should get Sinmara too, just to be safe. And yes, thank you. This is literally the entire concern with this sequence, is that it just came out of nowhere. But then Kratos replies with, that is a man who will die long before he sees any harm come to his beloved. We have cheated before, we must trust him. Now what would happen after this whole sequence is that the plan doesn't work as intended, as per this conversation. Did we just mess up? We didn't know what would happen, and he didn't know it either. He tried to help us. And yeah, in the process, he might have screwed everything up. And then another dialogue, and what if this doesn't work? This is our last chance to get Ragnarok. What if? And then Kratos replies, you are right, we do not know this will work, but the heart of Sinmara remains, so as you said, there is a chance. So now the quest actually becomes is to find Sinmara, where you can see the different objectives here in the quest that's restored. Now the next part has a lot of cut dialogue, as it involves Kratos and Atreus finding Sinmara, convincing her of helping us, and oh, by the way, Sinmara has an actual character models in the files, which is this. You can see how part of her chest has a hole, which indicates Surtr's heart being there the same way he had hers. Now, I won't be showing in this video all of the dialogue because it's going to be very long, but I will be focusing on the main events that happen in the sequence, and it actually shows a part of Atreus that wasn't really shown properly in this part. So firstly, we find Sinmara in Niflheim in the Ice Canyon, which is probably the same area you play in as Atreus when you are looking for the mask with Thor. Atreus keeps calling for Sinmara's name until she appears, and she knows that Surtr is dead, and she is very angry and sad about it. Now, there is actually a voice actress that is credited for Sinmara's voice, but sadly the dialogue is not in the game, so I have used an AI voice for her dialogue just so you can imagine how it was.
We promised. He promised me we'd see each other again. If you know what happened, you'll forgive me for not feeling hospitable at the moment. I didn't even get to say goodbye. He's just gone. I wasn't even there. Perhaps I could have done something if I'd known. I want to be alone.
Atreus tries to reason with her, telling her that pitying herself like this is not gonna do anything, which makes her even more mad. And here there is supposed to be a cutscene, which is where the whole plot of this thing starts moving and starts getting a little bit sketchy, where Atreus lies to Sinmara and he tells her that Odin is the one that killed Surtr and that they need help from her to stop him.
How are we even considered a threat? We've been apart for so long. I mean, look at me. You saw this. You watched him die and you let his murderer walk free. Odin will have what he fears most. Ragnarok is indeed coming.
Now here she actually runs away and you have to chase her again, and a conflict between Atreus and Kratos happens here where Atreus' main focus is just revenge, where Kratos is trying to make him understand that vengeance is not the only way. So Kratos asks him why did he lie to her, and he answers with, "It was the only way. How else were we supposed to get her to help us? She probably would have accused us of killing Surtr." Which they actually did kill him, and Kratos tells him that. And then they actually fight a dragon because they woke it up, and they continue their questline. And then Kratos continues, "Your behavior since Midgard, this is not what I taught you. You continue to speak of vengeance. It will not give you the satisfaction you seek." And then Atreus replies with, this is the part that's very focused on Atreus. "Not what you taught me? Close your heart to it. That's what you taught me. How is this any different? If we're gonna take revenge on Odin for Brock's death, this is how we have to do it. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to see our friend avenged. Are you? Is there something you do differently? Some other option we have that I'm missing? I want Odin dead. I want Ragnarok to burn everything he's worked for to the ground. That's what I want." Also, another important part to mention is that we would have gone to the Spark of the World from Niflheim. And it makes complete sense as there is dialogue for Surtr where he says,
Place where Niflheim and Muspelheim meet, where the first realms came into existence.
You can also see in the Spark of the World in the game where there is two sides to the Spark of the World, where there is a red one indicating Muspelheim and the other side being the blue one indicating Niflheim. And then we reach the Spark of the World. Sinmara fuses with Surtr's heart. A cutscene plays that is cut where she says that she's basically fusing with her heart, and then the Valkyries attack and everything continues normally as well. There are also other cut parts where we can go to Svartalfheim, and Atreus sees that the war machines are actually gone from there, hinting that Odin has taken them to Asgard, which we later see in the Ragnarok sequence of the game. And we can also go to Helheim to see Hilsvini actually asking the big bird in Hell for help in the war. There is a lot that was cut from the preparation part of Ragnarok, and it might be because they didn't want to drag that sequence too much and just have most of the stuff happen in the background and just progress with the game to try to get to the ending sequence. Now, let us get to the juicy stuff after the ending. So one thing that I kept wondering about is what actually happens to Ragnarok after the game's ending. Is it destroyed with Asgard? Is it still roaming, etc.? Well, they actually did have a complete questline in the epilogue specifically for this, and thankfully the dialogue for it is still there. So, let's go.
What is that?
The heart of Sinmara.
Ragnarok. Asgard's destruction must have split their heart in two.
What of it? The creature served its purpose, for better or for worse.
When joined, they were not themselves.
Something you're not telling us, brother? Well, if you're that bothered about it, perhaps the other heart is still out there too.
Why do you care about this monster?
They fought for a lie, and I allowed it.
What lie?
It does not matter. But the creature was born from its telling. Irrational. Grieving. If we had told the truth,
My brother might still be alive?
perhaps.
We found Sinmara's. Surtr's probably survived too.
We will find it.
So the idea is that we would have found Sinmara's heart in a place called North Bay, and my theory is that it is in Svartalfheim. As for Surtr's heart, it is mentioned in the questline that it landed somewhere in Vanaheim. So after collecting both hearts, this is what happens.
The heart of Surtr.
We could return to the Spark of the World, lay the hearts to rest. Surtr and Sinmara, reunited at last.
Freya. I am sorry.
No. You did what you thought was right. To win the war. Apologizing to me for this makes it sound like his death was a tragic accident. Freyr knew what he was doing, and he saved us because of it.
That is no excuse.
Maybe a moot point. You sure you want to leave the hearts here, brother? The spark of the world is brimming with primordial magics. What if they bring Ragnarok back to life? What if they figure out what you did?
Then I will deal with the consequences.
And so, the story of Surtr and Sinmara is finally complete, and it's very interesting to mention that the creature might return. Imagine Kratos fighting this giant monster. It would have been an amazing fight. Now, what does this mean for the God of War franchise? Does this mean that there is more coming? Are we getting DLC? We can't say anything, sadly. It's very unclear how the direction of the series is going to go, and I've tried to look for references for any DLC or anything in the game, but sadly I couldn't find anything very apparent. But it's really nice to see how things would have played out. Perhaps this whole Surtr Sinmara thing happened in an alternate timeline in the God of War series. No, I know that's not how it is. It's cut content, but nonetheless, it's very interesting seeing the original vision of the story. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. It has been in the works for like a month now, trying to gather all of the data, linking the story probably, trying to restore as much stuff as I can. So make sure to check out my other God of War modding videos where we put Thor against his sons, or Thor and his daughter Thrud against Odin, and so many other things. And yeah, please like and subscribe and share this video, and I'll be seeing you later. Bye bye.